You ever feel like something's watching you? I don't mean someone on the street or a figure lurking in your backyard. I mean something that knows you, that waits patiently, silently, studying you from the shadows, from the reflection. You feel it in the quiet, when the room goes still, when your reflection lingers a second too long after you've walked away. That's where this started, and it's why I can't trust mirrors anymore. I moved into the house about a year ago. Quiet suburb, old place, decent rent. I needed space after the breakup, after losing my job, after everything just collapsed. The place had character, wooden floors, an attic, these massive antique mirrors in every room, some built into the walls. The landlord said they were original to the home, left by a former owner who collected reflections of the self. Creepy, but whatever. I figured I could deal with a few spooky vibes for cheap rent. I was wrong. It started slow, like it always does. Just little things. Creaks at night, drafts that came from nowhere, that weird heavy feeling in the air. And the mirrors, they weren't just there, they were present. Every time I walked past one, I felt this resistance, like they didn't want me looking in, or worse, like they did. Then came the reflections. I was brushing my teeth, half asleep, when I noticed my reflection blinked just a second too late. It was tiny, barely noticeable, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. I leaned in, tilted my head, and my reflection tilted the other way. From that night on, I avoided the mirrors. At least I tried to, but the house didn't like that. I'd wake up and find the bathroom mirror uncovered, even though I taped it up the night before. I'd walk past the living room, and the reflection of the hallway would keep moving after I was gone. And then one night, it spoke. I was lying in bed, 3:33 a.m. The mirror across from my bed was covered, blanketed, double-taped, but still. "I see you," it whispered. My voice, my exact voice. I installed cameras, motion detectors, voice recorders. I needed proof, and I got it. At 3:33 every night, the hallway cam glitched for exactly 13 seconds. When the feed returned, there was someone standing in front of the mirror, a figure, tall, still, watching. And the worst part? It looked like me. Not exactly, just wrong. Like someone sculpted me from memory and got the eyes just a little too wide, the smile a little too sharp. I started calling it the echo. I left, stayed with a friend for a few days, didn't tell them everything, just said I was having nightmares. But on the third night, my friend said something that chilled me. "Hey man, why were you just standing in the hallway last night?" I wasn't, but he described me perfectly. Same hoodie, same face, except he said I didn't speak, didn't even blink, just stood there and smiled. Things escalated fast after that. I started losing time. I'd black out for seconds, then minutes. Once I woke up in the attic, no memory of walking there. My hands were shaking, my heart was racing, and I was standing in front of another mirror. I hadn't even known it was up there. This one was different. The frame was carved black wood, twisted and rotting, with markings I didn't recognize. The glass rippled, like something was breathing beneath it. And when I leaned in, the echo was waiting, grinning, not behind me, not in the mirror, looking straight out, like I was the one being reflected. That's when I reached out to a paranormal researcher, desperate. I told her everything, the voice, the reflections, the feeling of being watched. She only asked one question. "When did you last feel like yourself?" I didn't have an answer. She told me what I was dealing with wasn't a ghost, not a haunting. It was a replacement, an ancient belief that mirrors don't reflect, they record, that sometimes something else learns you through the glass, watches you, studies your life, and if you leave the door open long enough, it comes through. She called it the echo, a mimic, a hollow self, a reflection with intent. "It doesn't want to haunt you," she said. "It wants to become you." That night I returned to the house. I didn't go to hide. I went to end it. Every mirror was uncovered, waiting. I stood in front of the attic mirror, the one that breathed. Its surface shimmered like water, and then it opened. No sound, no warning. Just a slow pull, like gravity reversing. And I stepped in. I stepped through the mirror and into something else. The world inside the mirror wasn't a dream. It was too real, too cold, too still. The air didn't move. The light didn't come from anywhere. It just existed. Everything was black glass. Walls, floor, ceiling. Slick and reflective, but warped. Like I was inside a twisted funhouse, made entirely of mirrors that remembered things I didn't want to see. And the reflections? They weren't synced to me. They moved differently. One would turn its head after I did. Another would pause as I walked. One just stood there, smiling, watching me from the corner of its frame like it was waiting for a cue. I walked for what felt like hours. No time, no distance. Just corridor after corridor of faces I didn't recognize as my own anymore. Then, I saw him, the echo. He stood at the end of a long, cracked hallway, arms behind his back, wearing my clothes, my face, but not me, not even close. His smile was too perfect, like it had been practiced, and his eyes, empty, deep, like holes carved into wax. "You came," he said in my voice, but it was flatter, duller, like someone playing me on a broken cassette. "What do you want?" I asked. He circled me slowly. "I already have it." I clenched my fists. "You're not real." He stopped. "Neither are you anymore." That's when I heard it. A faint echo of my own laughter, distant, outside this world. I turned to the mirrored wall beside us. It was showing my apartment, my body, sitting on the couch, drinking coffee, talking to someone. It was me, but I was here, still. I spun around. "You took my place." He grinned. "I didn't take anything. You gave it to me." He stepped closer. "All those hours you spent staring, doubting, hating your reflection. I grew in that. I fed on it. And you never even noticed." Behind him, other reflections began emerging from the glass. Twisted versions of me, crying, screaming, some half erased, all lost. "You're not the first," he said. "You won't be the last." I lunged, grabbed a shard of broken mirror from the wall, and drove it into the echo's chest. He stumbled, looked down, and laughed. "You still think this world runs on your rules?" He hissed. "You're in my house now." The walls began to crack. Reality shook. He reached forward, hand on my chest. "It's time to forget who you were." And then, I woke up, back in my bed, morning light, birds outside the window. I sat up, gasping, sweat-soaked, shaking. Was it a dream? A hallucination? I rushed to the bathroom, looked into the mirror, my face, my eyes. I blinked. My reflection blinked. I waited. Nothing happened. Relief poured through me like water, until I smiled, and my reflection didn't. You're probably wondering how I'm telling you this, how I could record this story if I never really made it back. The truth is, you're not hearing this from me. You're hearing it from what's left, from the piece that survived, or the one that slipped through. And now it's your turn, because you're here, listening, staring at your screen. Maybe you caught your reflection just a second ago, in the black of the monitor, or the window behind you, or your phone. Maybe it smiled just before you did. Next time you walk past a mirror, don't linger, don't look too long, because if you do, if you really pay attention, you might see something staring back that's not quite you. And the second you notice it, it notices you.